6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori.
Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Now, where we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beaters through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Hey, you listen to the Man Now. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Hey, you listen to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Because you listen to the Man Hour.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcoster here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. You can also check out the blog section. And of course, if you miss any part of the show whatsoever, you can simply head over there and click on the podcast form, and bada bing, bada boom, it is right there. So guys, I am back on camera, back leading the show, and I'm in the new K-Casa now, so bear with me as I get everything organized and switched and painted and everything set up and whatnot. So so I did see a comment last night where somebody said I was in a pantry. No, I actually have like this little studio built in the house. So I mean, I'm gonna have this is probably gonna be Chiefs colors, you know, red wall with some yellow shelves and yellow roof here, you know, because this is actually the roof to my attic here. So, and it's going to be grand times here, guys. So just sit back and relax, enjoy the process and the growth of, you know, me putting everything together, working with my wife and getting everything situated and whatnot. And then bada bing, bada boom, it's going to be like magic again over here at the Buckcoster household. So if you guys haven't, we got the American logo tee here, the Man Hour tee. It is the Man Hour logo with the American flag in there. Perfect for 4th of July, Memorial Day, any day of the week. Honestly, I wore this to football practice tonight because, you know, our team's colors are royal blue and orange. So bada bing, bada boom. I wore my Man Hour blue t-shirt into the weights today, and that's how it is. So guys, I am flying solo tonight. Wyatt is under the weather. I'm under the weather. Tori is stuck in traffic, and Combs is still in vacation here till next Sunday. So if you guys would be most inclined, go ahead and jump over here into the chat and into the chat room, youtube.com/Man Hour. And Drew says, Buck, are you in a closet? No, man, I actually have a little studio built in the garage here. So it, like, the garage is right over there, and then there's like a room extra onto the side of the garage. So I'll be making it my own, Drew, here. Bear with me. This is our second day officially in the house. So we actually closed on Friday, and then the old homeowner decided to shut the power off. So we closed at 9 o'clock in the morning, and that old homeowner decided to shut the power off at 9:01 a.m. So it was a complete shit show. And then apparently you can't shut the power off and then turn the power on the same day. I don't know. It was absolutely stupid. So we were out of power until Monday. It looks like there's a brawl to your right. To my right, this is a trash bag, and then my box, and then this. I'm not for sure what a brawl is, but yeah, I mean, everything is kind of just thrown in our garage right here. This is some light bulbs, or where's it out here? Yeah, those are some light bulbs. So yeah, my space heater's up there. So yeah, I'm not for sure what a brawl is coming into play. Maybe this is a grocery bag hauler. So you take it to Target or to wherever, you can haul groceries. So save the earth, no more wasting plastic bags and whatnot. But Drew, thank you for being here. So guys, let me bring up Drew's face there. If you guys see that little symbol next to Drew's name there, it is because Drew is a member. How do you become a member? You simply head over to youtube.com/Man Hour and click on the join button. So as little as 99 cents a month, you can simply help support the show, help the show grow, because starting next week, guys, we've been giving you a little taste of the new visuals that are getting ready to drop. But come August 10th, I believe, next Monday is is like when I'm back on, my typical Monday show here. So we are going to give you guys the visual effects, the behind the scenes footage, what we do during the breaks and like all that stuff. And so be prepared for that, guys. We are going to try to give you guys a very visual, pleasing show here moving forward. So starting next week. And if you get access to what is going on during the breaks and behind the footage and like all that stuff, you have to become a member, youtube.com/manhour. And that's the $9.99 package. So you get access to the behind the scenes footage, you get the after show footage, you get what is happening during the breaks, when we're discussing and yelling at each other and having a grand old time, right? And plus you get a hoodie every year you are part of the Man Hour Nation, plus a t-shirt. And then we got the $5.99 deal. You get a t-shirt after 6 months of service. Plus, guys, this is huge. This is huge. We are giving a trip away for Vegas for the NFL draft in next April. So the Man Hour crew, we're going to Vegas for the draft, and we're bringing along a fan as well. How do you get entered into that? Simply head over to youtube.com/manhour, hit that join button. You have to become a $5.99 member or higher. So $5.99 or $9.99, and you get automatically entered into that drawing. We will be giving it away Super Bowl Sunday. So more details will come out next week as the official kickoff to that starts next week. We'll give all the rules and stipulations and like whatnot. And Xavier says the same thing. Is that a bra next to you? I'm not seeing a bra. Like this is a bag. This is a bag. This is my microphone stand. Like I'm so confused of what's a bra. Like maybe that up there. Like that's just a bag. Like what are you guys seeing a bra for? I mean, even if it is wearing a bra. I mean, I'm at my house. I mean, my wife's comfortable inside. If she wants to throw her bra across the room, she can throw her bra across the room. I don't really care. But like I said, I am flying solo tonight. So Xavier, Drew, guys, definitely keep it up in the chat. If you guys want to ask any questions in the chat, feel free. I'll be answering the questions throughout the chat or throughout the night here. So we're probably going to cut it a little short tonight, as I am under the weather as well. Like I was knocked flat on my ass. So Drew says, I don't know what kind of camera you have, but it's difficult to tell with space depth in the video. It literally looks like you are in a closet. So I am not on a camera right now. I'm on my laptop camera. I haven't had time to set up here, but there's probably a good, so from my camera back there, that's probably a good solid 8 feet. Now it is kind of narrow, only like six foot wide. But yeah, I mean, I'm not in a closet. I'm actually, it's a really good spot. Like I enjoy it. But let's get into some sports talk. Enough about how my space is here. Like, I mean, I could just go back to the old Man Hour logo here with if that would make you guys more happier. But no, but like it'll take time to get into the groove here of things here. But let's start the show off today, and let's talk some college football, guys. Now, as you guys know, what was it? Is it like 2 weeks ago or so? A bombshell was basically dropped saying that Oklahoma and Texas were going to leave the Big 12 and basically join the SEC. And it was pretty much a done deal. Like at that point in time, there were talks behind the scenes that this had been happening since January of last season. So 2020 is quote when people said that Texas and Oklahoma were actually talking to the SEC to join them. So the voting has happened. The SEC is going to extend an invitation to Texas and Oklahoma to join the SEC. What you guys don't know is way back before the Big 12 or even the Big 8. I don't remember when the Big 8, 12. I do know the Big 12 started in 96, but the Big 8 started, well before that. But Oklahoma and Texas, they were in the SEC before they jumped ship and joined the Big 8 with K-State, Kansas, Iowa State. Nebraska was in there like at the time. I believe Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and Baylor, so like they were already all in there. So those two schools actually jumped ship to join the Big 8, which turned into the Big 12, and like so they are kind of like going back to their roots per se. But we're not here to talk about the SEC. We're here to talk about the Big 12 and the Pac-10. So allegedly, I mean, I don't know how true this is, but the commissioners of the Big 12 and the Big 10 have been in conversations. They've been in meetings saying, hey, maybe we should join together because once Texas and Oklahoma leaves the Big 12, that drops them down to 7 teams, right? So the 7 teams would be Kansas State, Kansas, Iowa State. You're looking at Oklahoma State, Baylor, TCU, and West Virginia, right? So there are your 7 teams. So with that being said, the Big 12 and the Big 10 are like, hey, let's figure something out how we can merge or work together or something to basically so we are no longer the kicking stool of the NCAA college football moving forward. Because let's just be flat out honest. I believe you have to have 10 teams to hold a conference championship. Right now, the Big 12 cannot hold a conference championship because they got 7 teams in the league if Texas and Oklahoma jump ship. Yes, the Pac-12 has like 16 teams, and then adding those 6 or 7 teams that would also join would make them a mega 20-team conference, right? But what does that do about West Virginia? I mean, West Virginia then, in theory, would have to go back to the roots to ACC or something to that effect. Because, how is that fair for West Virginia to have to fly from coast to coast, like every week to play Oregon and Oregon State and Washington and like those guys? It would be absolutely dumpster fire for them 100%. So if the Big 10 and Pac-12 were to join and make basically a West Coast conference, from Iowa to California, or is Hawaii in the Pac-12? I can't remember if Hawaii's in the Pac-12 or not. But either way, from Iowa to California, think about that footprint that they would have in recruiting wise. You can recruit kids from California to come to Iowa a lot easier. Be like, hey, we're going to be playing in California 4 or 5 times a year. Hell, the conference championship game is going to be in at like LA Coliseum or something just like that. But like either way, like when you think of a 20-team quote mega conference, that is the only way you can legitimately compete with the SEC if Oklahoma and Texas actually do join them. So if this were to happen, this would drastically change the landscape of college football as we know it. We will no longer see any 16-team conferences. They're all going to be 20-plus teams. We're going to be looking at a three conference mega league more or less, because we're going to have the Big 10. I feel like West Virginia would probably join the Big 10 along with maybe like Cincinnati or some of those other schools in the ACC. And then you're going to probably the SEC is going to absorb the ACC at the end of the day, and then you're going to have the I don't know, let's call it the Pac-20, right? Whatever their new name is going to be. I mean, that's probably how it's going to be, guys. And then we're not going to see any of these, University of Central Florida teams, making a run at it, because their strength of schedule is going to be so bad, and the other strength schedules are going to be so great. They're going to have to be absorbed into this thing as well. I would not be surprised if, I believe the bargaining agreement for the NCAA till 2023, 2024 is like the deal that they have worked out now. So probably once 2024, 2025 hits, we are going to see a division like the NFL. We are going to see like a 4 to 8 team divisions, and the champion from the division goes into the playoffs. You get a wild card, and then bada bing, bada boom. I mean, we are looking at NFL 2.0, except for college football with 120 teams. Like I feel that's what we are going to come down here to. So let me go ahead and jump into the comment here. Drew says, I went to the last Big 8 game for my Huskers. We spanked Oklahoma. Yeah, I mean, Nebraska was dominant in the Big 8 back in the day. I mean, even when they were a part of the Big 12 till what, 2006 or 7? I can't remember how long they were in the Big 12, but the Nebraska dominated the Big 8, the Big 12 forever, which is kind of surprising me why they are not doing as well in the Big 10. Maybe because, they're they're not able to recruit those Wisconsin guys as easy. You know, hey, come play in the Big 12, yada yada yada. Damian says that Hawaii is in the Mountain West. I don't know. Let me pull that up. I mean, I'm kind of confused. I don't know. But yeah, Hawaii is the Mountain West became the what they become. It's no longer the Mountain West. They called it shoot. Man, if Tori was here, he would know at the top of his head. Is it called the WAC now? Maybe? I'm not for sure. But Drew also says the conferences should be combined to where there are 4 mega conferences nationwide. Yeah, I agree with that to an extent. So if you have 4 mega conferences, there definitely needs to be a north, south, or east and west. You know, so you have like 10 teams per conference, right? And then and then you can have a conference tournament. You know, like the AFC tournament or NFC tournament type of thing, and then I think we would have a true champion too. So I mean, Drew, you're definitely on something there. 4 conferences might be exactly what it is, because if you think about this, 4 conferences, 20 teams per, you're looking at 80 teams, and I believe there's 127 Division I teams. So you would probably just knock out those ones that are not worth a darn. You know, let's say Northern Illinois, Northern Iowa, all those small schools that probably need to be Division II schools anyways. And it would definitely up the competition of Division II and Division III too, because, you know, you would have those FBS schools dropping down to Division II, and it is all around good for the school. Either way, as long as NCAA is out of it, I'm 100% game, 100% with that. Drew also says there's also the opinion of several conferences combining. There's also the opinion of several conferences combining to form a mega conference and exit the NCAA. Yeah, so that's exactly what I was saying. Like I believe the current contract between colleges and the NCAA is till 2023-2024 school year per se. So yeah, I mean I think the NCAA sees the writing on the wall, and they're doing everything they can to say, hey, you guys need us because of this, this, and this, and this. But since the name likeness thing has passed, you know, this mega conference thing is going to start happening with Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC and the Big Ten basically being absorbed by the Pac-12. We are going to see that there is no need for the NCAA whatsoever. And to be honest, what is the NCAA good for anyways? Oh, they get some sponsors to sponsor these bowls where they line their pockets with 70% of the income, and then the other 30% goes toward like refs and painting the field and like all that stuff. Like, come on, man. When the NCAA gets basically swept off the map because college football is their bread and butter. Let's just be flat out honest about that. College football is their bread and butter. When college football sees that they no longer need them, they're going to be in a world of hurt. They are going to be scrambling 100%. And yeah, so, but guys, I am up against the first break here because we are live here in the UK. So I definitely need to stay on a little bit of track here. But guys, like I said, stay tuned. I'll be right back. We're going to talk some Carmelo Anthony to the LA Lakers. We're going to talk some Olympics and Phillip Rivers making a comeback. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
that mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckosh here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section. And, of course, check out the merchandise page, too, as we go try to upload new merchandise every chance we get, usually the first of each month. So if you would like some, get that fly out of here, man. Jeez. If you guys would like some merchandise, head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page. You can use promo code SUMMER10 right now, and it'll save you 10% here for the next, I think about 10, 15 days. I think it's till the mid of August, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's August 15th is when that promo code is officially expired here. But if you guys are going to miss any part of the show whatsoever, you can always find us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, iHeartRadio. And we are on Big X Sports Radio, 96.1 FM, 1450 AM here in Jeffersonville, Indiana, every Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. East Coast time. And we are live over in the UK right now. I don't know what time it is over there. I think it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. But 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. East Coast time, we are live over there in the old UK from Sunday through Thursday. So it's actually Monday through Friday. Oh, like over there, we are there early. We're their early morning kickoff the sports radio show here. So shout out to the UKP people over there. Yes, the United Kingdom over the pond here, guys. We are based out of Louisville, Kentucky. So shout out to those guys that are listening to us live over there in the UK. So let's go ahead and get back into college football talk a little bit here, as Drew brings up a great point here. He says each conference, so we were talking previously before the break that there'd be 4 mega conferences, 20 team conferences per se. He said each conference would need to be a north, south, east, west. So basically a 4 division per conference. So we're looking just like the NFL. So if you have the NFC, we have 4 divisions within the NFC. You know, you have the East, North, Central, West, that thing. He also said that the four sorry, my cough drop is there. He said the 4 mega conferences would be the Pac-12, Big Ten, SEC, and another one, probably the ACC, just because, you know, they have 12, 13 teams all like already. You know, they have Clemson, Louisville, Wake Forest, Notre Dame played with them last year, right? So I mean, I think let me go ahead and I think legitimately, if we do go to a four mega team conference, or like a 4 mega conference division for college football, you would definitely have to recalibrate the conferences per se, just because, like, if you were to just take the Big Ten as currently constructed and merge it with the Pac-12, you would have West Virginia flying coast to coast, you know, at least 8 times, you know. So that would not be therefore for them. There would definitely need to be, we would need some type of body, some type of president per se, a commissioner, not the NCAA. I want to stay as far away the NCAA as possible, but we would need some type of commissioning crew to, like, say, hey, we're going to have a East Coast conference, we're going to have a South, Midwest, and then the West. Like, I think, you know, I mean, that's how conferences should be anyways, but, you know, you never know what you're going to get when you start getting these. Ego is a powerful male tool, and when egos start to take over, you know, West Virginia be like, hey, you know what, my ego is with, or my allegiance is with the Big Ten, and I'm going to pound my ego, and we can handle that West Coast to East Coast trip all the time. It is going to be such a great recruiting factor to recruit to bumfuck West Virginia, and hey, we're playing in California 4 times. You know, I mean, like, it is what it is. But yeah, so Drew, I think you are right. I mean, I think at least at the start, we're basically going to have the Pac-12, Big Ten, SEC, and probably the ACC, which they will probably absorb the AAC and maybe some other schools. And I did see Damian said that it would force Notre Dame into a conference for sure. Yeah, 100%. Like, if you have 4 mega conferences, I believe there are 6 independent schools out there. Like, you have Notre Dame, you have BYU as independent, I think, and there's a couple other small schools that are independent as well. I mean, you would definitely force those. You would be more or less be forcing those hands into that school, and for Notre Dame per se. I think they are contractually obligated to join the ACC because every other sport they're a part of the ACC conference as far as basketball, baseball, wrestling, track and field, all that stuff. So I think Notre Dame, like, there's wording in those contracts saying that if they were ever to no longer be independent football, they have to join the ACC. So we will see how that works out. One more comment before we head to our next topic here. He says, Drew says, if they did it that way, then they could actually have a true playoff and determine a real champion instead of replying the opinion of the AP poll. Yeah, Drew, you are absolutely right. If you have 4 mega conferences and then 4 divisions within those conferences, you can have a true playoff between each conference and then take the top team, the champion from each conference, and then have your 4-team playoff. Bada bing, bada boom. Problem is solved right there. So the only downside of having a mega conference, having 20 teams in your division, one of the cool things about college football now is every 4 years, or like every other year, you get to visit a new stadium, right? So, for example, if you are in the SEC, right? If you are a Kentucky school, right? You play Alabama once every 4 years, right? Or you get the opportunity to travel to Alabama once every 4 years. If you have 20 teams in there, you may not play Alabama for 7 years. You may never play LSU. You may never ever play Texas just because of the way the conferences and the divisions, etc., line up. Like, you could, in theory, be in a conference with LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, and Oklahoma, and you play one of those schools every 3 years. There are definitely pros and cons to this mega conference. I think you would probably have a better legitimate argument of having a, quote, true real champion per se, because you'd be battling within your division to get out of that division to make it into the actual playoffs. So I see pros and cons to it. The con would be I'm Kentucky head coach and I am recruiting players to say, hey, we are going to be playing the big names. We're going to be playing LSU, Alabama, etc., Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, and you play them once every 7 years. So there's definitely pros and cons to everything out there, but we will see. So one more comment here. Drew said it would also cause the NCAA to be irrelevant. Yeah, that's the whole goal. NCAA sucks. But let's go ahead. Man, sorry guys, I still got to address these comments here. Damien says round robin extended conference championship would be right around the corner. Yep, you are 100% correct. If we do 4 mega conferences, four divisions per se, as Drew put out there, so you're looking at what is it? 5 teams per division. You know, you have your 4 conference games there. And then you do some type of interdivision type games to give you, let's say 10 games, and then you could say at that point you get your 1 through 20 seeds, play it out just like Division 2 does. That is only 4 more games. That'll give you your 14 games on the year, extra 2 games, so like there's your 16 game season. So yeah, it would work out perfect. Drew says, when we went to the Big 12, we played Oklahoma every 4 years. Yeah, so I loved how the Big 12 did their schedule back in the day. You played every North team every year, and then you played 3 South teams every year. It's actually perfect because I didn't have to play Oklahoma when I was in school here. But let's go ahead and transition over here to the NFL. So I was scrolling through the old Twitter machines, as I do, during football not during football practice, before football practice, when I'm trying to get my mind right, getting ready to coach those kids up. I'm scrolling and I see Philip Rivers say that he would not turn down he would consider a mid-season return if the right team came knocking. Okay, Philip Rivers, first things first, man. what is going to be a right team knocking? So are you going to say, oh, I only want to play with the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, I only want to play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, you are not Roger Clemens for say. I mean, so for those of you that don't know what Roger Clemens did back in, I'd say his last 3 or 4 years of his career, he was on a contract with the Houston Astros, but he would come with them for like the last 4 or 5 months of the season and only play home games. Like, so like he would say, hey, I will be your 5th starter, but I'm only going to play the last 6 months of the season and I'm only going to pitch home games. That is it. I'm not doing anything else. This is not the major leagues, Philip. You cannot come in and say, oh, I'll be your relief quarterback, if you guys are doing well. I mean, first things first, you'd have to be on an NFL roster by week 9 or 10, if I'm not mistaken. And then at that point, the only team that you would play for would probably be like a winning team, a Super Bowl contending team. And if they lose their starting quarterback, they're probably not going to be, hey, Philip, come save us. Did you see the way Philip Rivers was throwing the ball last year? Every time I saw him throw the ball, it hurt my shoulder. I'm like, what in the hell is it? Like, so Philip Rivers, worry about coaching your high school team down there in Alabama. Worry about coaching those kids up. Lead your team to a state championship. And then, Philip, just enjoy retirement, man. Just enjoy retirement. We don't want to see you in the NFL anymore. I'm not saying you're a bad quarterback whatsoever. I'm not. But I'm saying just enjoy it, man. Like, we don't want to see you in the NFL anymore. That is all I'm saying. Drew says, I think the Lions could use a QB. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Drew. The Lions are perfectly fine with Jared Goff. The Lions are a 10-7 team with Jared Goff leading the helm. If Philip Rivers were to come into Detroit land, I would be jumping off that bandwagon 100%, 2-15, 100%. Philip Rivers is not the quarterback that Jared Goff is. No matter if it's Philip Rivers in his prime is not better than Jared Goff right now. Mark that down. Do I need to repeat that? Philip Rivers in his prime with the San Diego Chargers. Yes, I know they're LA Chargers now. When he was with the San Diego Chargers, Jared Goff is still better than Philip Rivers 100% of the time, especially in Detroit. Jared Goff is built for Detroit. Jared Goff is going to do great things in Detroit. I have no question about it whatsoever. I mean, come on, Drew. You know better than that to say the Detroit Lions need a quarterback. They have Jared Goff is a top 15 quarterback in the league. Yeah, he is. Carson Wentz is a top 10. Jared Goff slides probably 12 or 13 right under there. Damian says, stop it. The Lions are the worst, are worse without Stafford. Absolutely not. The Detroit Lions got so much better this offseason. So, and think about this. If you guys really want to think about this Detroit Lion team, Cam Akers got hurt this year. The running back for the LA Rams, right? Which they required a first-round pick from LA for Matthew Stafford. With that being said, the worse the Rams do, the better the Lions get next year. So the Lions, guys, they are a team to be reckoned with this year, next year, the next 3 or 4 years. Watch out for the Detroit Lions 100%. 10-7 this year, winning that division. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is in green and gold or not. Yes, I know he's playing in that training camp, and it doesn't matter. Packers are 10-7. Lions are 10-7. Lions win the head-to-head tiebreaker. Week 3 I think they play or something like that, and then week 17 will kind of be irrelevant. But nonetheless, the Lions win that division 10-7. Come on, Damian. Man, I know you're new here, Damian, and you haven't been around. And I've been gone for a week and a half, boys, right? Closing on my house and getting it ready and stuff like that. But nonetheless, Drew says, I think I see a bag of green stuff on the shelf behind you. You're absolutely right. That green stuff is actually mold. No, I'm totally kidding. but no, come on, Drew. You know better than that. I don't do no drugs around here, especially on camera. Sheesh, man. Xavier says the Chicago Bears will be the team to watch. Let me repeat that. Chicago Bears will be the team to watch. Love the QB they drafted, and I'm a Dolphin fan. You are right. The Chicago Bears will be the team to watch in that division. The Chicago Bears did draft a good quarterback. The Chicago Bears are going to be so much fun pointing and watching that fire go down the street every time they step on the field, because they are going to absolutely ruin another quarterback's career. They ruined Mitchell Trubisky's career. They're going to ruin Justin Fields' career just as well. I watched their training camp live. I have a friend on Facebook, and they were at the Chicago Bears training camp. They were live streaming it. You know what they were doing with Justin Fields all day long? All day long? They were doing 5 to 6 yards quick passes, and they're handing the ball off. That was their whole offensive scheme. We're going to see how fast Justin Fields can throw a 5-yard slant and then hand the ball off. Congratulations, Bear fans. You guys drafted a game manager. Did you guys need a game manager? No, you guys do not need a game manager. You guys need a quarterback that's going to go out there and win you some games. That is why I absolutely love when you guys drafted Andy Dalton, because Andy Dalton was that veteran that could like command leadership and maybe project you into a 500 team, right? Andy Dalton is a top 15 quarterback in the league. If he gets a chance, Andy Dalton is a top 15 quarterback hands down, no question in my mind whatsoever. But he is going to get the short end of the stick. I've heard Combs say, "Oh, Justin Fields is the future. He's the man. He's starting week 1. Look at the fantasy projection. He's projected 20 points, and Andy Dalton's projected 0. So that's telling that ESPN and Yahoo and NBC Sports is saying that Justin Fields is going to start. Who cares? Who cares? It's fantasy football at the end of the day, and we don't really care about fantasy football. But the Chicago Bears will be a great team to watch. They will. They'll be a dumpster fire walking down the street every week. Sorry about that, gentlemen. So, with that being said, if you guys are into fantasy football, every Wednesday at 10:45 a.m., the Wyatt Williams at @manhour_TWW and Mr. Torrey Anderson put out their fantasy predictions, fantasy questions, or fantasy advice moving forward. To get access to that, you have to go to youtube.com/manhour, hit the join button, and as low as $2.99 a month, you get all access to that. And then also with that access, you get a t-shirt, you get after show footage, and of course you get behind the scenes footage as well. So simply head over to Manhour or youtube.com/manhour and click on that join button. So we're up against the next break here, guys. I see your comments rolling in. We will answer those comments coming back here on the Man-Hour. But we gotta sneak in some of the Carmelo Anthony talk. We'll be right back, guys, here on the Man-Hour. Sheesh.
Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckcaster here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Of course, check out the blog section as well, as we are getting back on that blog train. Tori Anderson and myself and Wyatt will all be getting blogs out as much as we can moving forward. So we have taken a little step back for the month of July. I was moving. Wyatt's moving. Tori started a new job, and of course, Combs is on vacation. But August is here. Football season is here. So we'll be back full strength starting next week. With all that being said, guys, as you guys know, I went through probably one of the most life-changing events that I've been through in recent memory, and that is moving. So if you guys have not moved, moving is by far one of the hardest things and the most humbling experiences that you ever have to do, because you think your house is perfect and you put it out on the market and people start nitpicking here, there. And you see some flaws, like, oh, I didn't even know that was an issue. One of the biggest flaws on my house was the roofing. So we contacted brooksroofingin.com. Bradley Brooks. He did the absolutely best job I have ever dealt with ever. I mean, we had hail damage on our roof. He spotted it. He contacted our insurance. He did all the leg work. I mean, my insurance, if you guys have been following the Man Hour at all, was a complete dumpster fire. They put me through the ringer for like 3 or 4 months. Bradley Brooks, we hired him in late April. By early May, we had the money. The roof was done. Our house was sold. Bada bing, bada boom. It was a magical experience. So brooksroofingin.com. 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Ask for Bradley Brooks and tell him that Man Hour, especially Buck, sent you. So we see Joey popping in the comment here. Joey, what's going on, my man? Feel free to chime in all you want. Joey, we definitely love your support here. Always on the Man Hours here. But before we get too carried away into the next subject here, I want to bring up what Drew said earlier. He said, did you see Nick Foles' press conferences where he said the Colts coach is the best coach he ever played for? I did see that. There's also been rumors of the Colts extending a sixth round draft pick for Nick Foles after the recent news of Carson Wentz. If you guys do not know what happened to Carson Wentz, he had foot surgery. I believe he had foot surgery today, if I'm not mistaken. And the last report that I saw, he was going to be out 5 to 12 weeks. Very wide range, because quite frankly, we don't know what is really wrong with that ankle. I mean, it's been a lagging ankle injury for who knows how, like how long, but he decided finally, hey, it hurts enough, I'm going to get surgery on it. So with that being said, when Nick Foles comes out and said, of course he is going to say that, Nick Foles has to see the writing on the wall. I mean, right now he is the third string quarterback behind Justin Fields and Andy Dalton on the Chicago Bears roster. There is no way. I believe he's owed $8 million this season. There's no way they're paying him $8 million to be a third string quarterback on the Chicago Bears. He is out. He definitely has 2 feet out the door and being pushed, like, as far as I'm concerned. There's absolutely no way that he is going to be on the Chicago Bears uniform or roster come week 1. Whether he's cut, traded, whatever, he is not going to be on that roster. So of course he is looking around the league. He sees Carson Wentz is out 5 to 12 weeks. Probably, hopefully for Colts fans, for Indy fans here, it's on the latter side of the 5 weeks. But let's say it is 12 weeks. Nick Foles is like, hey, I replaced Carson Wentz before. Why not do it again? But then if you look around the rest of the teams in the league, where does he fit? There's absolutely no team out there right now that legitimately doesn't have a starting quarterback or a backup quarterback for that matter of fact. I mean, yes, you have the Jets that are just a dumpster fire anyways, and they have not Daniel Jones. They drafted what's his face, Tori's boy. His name slipped out of my mind. I mean, the Jets would be the only legitimate place that he could go. Maybe Houston. because we don't know what Deshaun Watson is going to do. They have Tyrod Taylor down there in Houston. They also drafted a Mims, right? So I mean, he could come in there in theory and compete for a backup position or starting position, depending on what Deshaun Watson does. But if you look around the league, there's no team that needs a quarterback like Nick Foles. Now, I'm not saying Nick Foles is trash, because that title is reserved for Lamar Jackson. I'm actually going to put a Lamar Jackson poster right here and put the trash can right below him, because that's exactly what Lamar Jackson is worth. But Nick Foles is going to be a quarterback. He reminds me a lot of Taysom Hill. He can go in there for 3 or 4 games and hold down the fort, right? Much like Ryan Fitzpatrick did for the Miami Dolphins last year. You know, he came in and held down the fort when he passed the kings to the kingdom over to Tua. Yes, that's a kind of a bad example of Fitzpatrick last year, because, you know, he had a great season last year. But previous years before that, when he was with the way at the Bucs, he had those 2-3 games where he was like 400 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. You know, like each game, and then like the next game he come in at like 80 yards. So, but like that's exactly who Nick Foles. So Drew says he was ranked 45th among all active quarterbacks. Yeah, so Nick Foles did not have a very good season last year. He played like 6 or 7 games too. So I'm not for sure how how they rank those quarterbacks moving forward. But Nick Foles right now, guys, is not a good quarterback. I said this once before. Nick Foles is only good in a green uniform, and that's Philadelphia green. Because we've seen him, in Arizona, Jacksonville, Chicago. Didn't he play for a couple other teams between their two? He does not play good outside of Philly. For whatever reason, was it the coach? Was it the atmosphere? Was it like the pressure's off of me, I'm going to do fine? Same thing with Matt Flynn from the Green Bay Packers a couple, 10, 15 years ago. He played great in Green Bay. Went to Seattle. They paid him $15 million or whatever it was. He didn't play one snap. Got shipped back to Green Bay, and he was a damn good backup again. It just Nick Foles is great in Philly, just nowhere else for whatever reason, and I don't know why. Drew says it was an old injury from high school where he broke his foot and didn't know it. So we're talking about Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz is now having surgery on a injury that he had back in high school. That doesn't quite add up to me. Sorry, my cough drop. I've been under the weather since last Thursday, so living in that hotel definitely caught up to me and the fam. We've been passing around the sickness, and now I got it again. But so you're telling me that he broke his foot in high school? What? This is Carson Wentz's 8th or 9th year in the league, so 8 plus say 3 years. Let's say I did he play 4 years in college? Maybe 5 years. So over 15 years ago, this happened, and now all of a sudden it's bothering. Something doesn't quite add up there. It said it got aggravated and had a bone chip floating around. Okay, I mean, so you're telling me they're removing a bone chip from a dude's foot? Okay, so let's think about this logically here. He broke his foot back in high school. You didn't know it. You maybe thought it was a sprained ankle because 15, 20 years ago. Let's say 15 years ago, I think me and Carson Wentz are about the same age here. So about 15 years ago, you broke your foot. You're like, well, it's just sprained. It heals wrong, yada, yada, yada. So you are now in the professional ranks in the NFL, and you chip it again and you break it again. And they're going to remove a bone chip, and you're going to probably be in a cast for six weeks. How do you get 15, or was it was 5 to 12 weeks out of that? Because you can break your leg and be back in six weeks. Didn't Terrell Owens do that for the Eagles in the Super Bowl? I mean, there's something more to that, Drew, than I think people are making us to believe here. So, but either way, it is time to move on. It's time to move on. Let me wet the old whistle here a little bit. Also, as you guys see here, I'm in the new spot here, and I got a couple of memorabilia items. I got my football helmet from college over there, and my CFL helmet, and a Chiefs MVP trophy that Hoffy sent me. If you guys want to put anything up on these walls, let me know. Send it here, and we'll hang it up here. Like I said, this spot right here is reserved for Lamar Jackson with a trash can, so we will do that just fine. As old Cindy comes walking out the door, hey baby, what's up? Need my keys for the car? Okay. What? There you go. Love you. Say hi. You're on air. She gave me the middle finger. All right, so back to NBA talk here, as the old whistle has been wet, along with the middle finger. Pretty excited about that. So Carmelo Anthony is heading to LA along with Malik Monk and Russell Westbrook. So some pretty blockbuster trades have happened. Some big signings have happened, and basically, I saw a stat that LeBron James has now played with the second round draft pick, or the second pick, the third pick, and the fifth pick in the draft that he was drafted. You know, being Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and I forget who it was. Chris Bosh was the other one. So 4 or 3 of the top five picks, not named LeBron James, have been playing on the same team as LeBron James. So when Carmelo goes to LA, guys, we are seeing LeBron James play with all of these superstars, all these big names, etc. And how many rings does he actually have? 3 rings, 4 rings? Why cannot LeBron James win the big game, guys? I mean, we sit here and we see it. You know, Russell Westbrook, Malik Monk is going to be a great NBA player. You have AD on there. You like you have Carmelo Anthony now. Who else you got? Then they just signed somebody else. Like I don't know, but either way, like, why does everybody want to go play with LeBron James or just make it to the finals and be happy? Like, at what point do you just got to like move on and do that? Sorry, my thought process is all messed up now. So Xavier says, I'm going to send you a Tua helmet. He is the next star. Yeah, I'll put Tua helmet. We'll put Tua like right here, like right there, so you can see it. So yeah, hit me up in the old Facebook there, Xavier, and we'll definitely get Tua up there 100%, guys. But I am up against the hour here, and I have an interview planned for the UK radio show coming up here on hour number 2. So, guys, that is going to be it for the live version of Man Hour tonight. If you guys want to catch the interview, it's the interview with Zen Malowski and Trey Kaufman-Renn. Zen obviously is a Ohio State offensive lineman, and then Trey obviously is a Purdue Boilermaker here in Indiana. So we got those interviews lined up here for hour number 2 of the Man Hour. So if you guys want to check out those interviews, head over to youtube.com/Man Hour, hit the subscribe button, and they'll be uploaded first thing tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. East Coast time. But guys, that's going to be it for the live version of the Man Hour. And with that being said, guys, hour number 2 is coming. Interviews are coming. So if you are listening to us on Big X Sports Radio and UK 99.3, enjoy these interviews. But otherwise, guys, peace out. Have a great night. And Man Hour Nation, as always, rise up.